All right, guys. So I'm gonna tilt the camera just a little bit here, see if we can't get that better in line. So I decided instead of doing cauliflower, I'm going to do onion rings. Right now I have oil heating up on the stove. So since I have some hot oil going on, I decided to do the video here at the counter instead of the table, just so I'm closer to the oil to watch it. So it's a little bit awkward, but hopefully you guys can see what's going on. The first thing we're going to do is prepare our onion. Once again, I'm going to post the video that I'm using. There's lots and lots of videos out there that you can use. I just found one that had the ingredients that I had on hand and sounded like some of the ingredients that I like. And I'm going to try that one. Okay. So the first thing you do is you're going to cut each end off the onion. Here. And then if you can see, kind of, onions usually have kind of a gauzy outer layer. You're going to cut that one off, or rip that one off rather. So you have just your onion. All right, so now you're going to cut your onion into strips. You want your strips to be about 1/4 to 1/2 inch thick. You're going to cut the entire onion that way. I'm losing my room to grip onto it here. Keep going. All right, so from here what you're going to do, I'm just going to put this one aside because I didn't end up getting that one cut. So now you're going to take these rings apart, okay? Kind of cut through them. I think I might try, now that I have this one, try to get that one a little bit thinner here. There we go. Cut a little bit of that off of there. So now you're going to cut them into, or take them apart so they make the rings. Do some doctoring on this last one that I did because it just didn't, got a little crooked. There we go. That's going to make it bigger. I don't want them to be too thick because if they're too thick, it's not going to form, it's not going to cook well and form a nice ring. And then the rings are going to be, of course, different sizes. The middle pieces that you're not going to use, you can put aside. If I were you, or what I'm going to do is go ahead and put those in a baggie, and then I can use them later in a different recipe. So you're going to continue to take those apart. There's that gauzy strip that is always in the middle of the onion layers. And just put that aside. All right, so put those aside. When I share this recipe with you, you'll see it actually calls for 3 onions. I only got 1, unsure of how it would turn out, and I didn't want to have tons of leftovers that nobody would eat. So that was my decision. You, of course, could make as many or as little as you wanted. These are not quite full circles. I think I'm going to go ahead and use them. I think those will still turn out well. All right. I started the oil heating before we got started because I knew it would take longer to heat than I wanted to stand around and wait. Of course, I'm just using a pan with about 2 inches of oil in it. We'll see that in a minute. You can use, if you have a deep fryer at home, you can use that. Or there's a lot of commercial things. An air fryer would probably also work for this. Like I said, what I have available is just a pan of oil. All right. So the first thing, when I'm measuring, I'm going to measure 1/2 cup of flour. I have to guesstimate just a little bit because I can't find the 1/2 cup measuring cup right now. That's okay. We'll make do, right? from here, it has measurements for the rest of the ingredients. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it, about 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to add a little bit of onion powder. I think that will taste good in there. I'm going to add paprika because it's going to give it a little bit of a spicy taste to it. My paprika is new, so I have to break into it here. I'm going to put a little bit of that paprika. Go. And then garlic powder, because I've expressed to you guys how much I love garlic powder, or garlic. It's one of my favorites. We start talking about herbs and spices. All right. Just going to add a little bit of garlic. And then we're just going to mix that around a little bit. I could actually get mix the spoon out. There we go. Oh, pepper. I didn't grab pepper. Let me grab just a little bit of pepper. I'll sprinkle some pepper in there. There we go. That gives it some nice flavor. All right. Now, looking at this, I'm a little concerned this is not going to be enough batter. It does call for more onions, though. We'll try it. So then the next step it says to do is in a small bowl to whisk an egg and half a cup of milk. So we'll put the egg in, do half a cup of milk. There we go, and it says to whisk those together. I'm going to use just a little fork to whisk those. Sometimes some of these mixtures call for buttermilk. This one doesn't. And then it says to go ahead and combine them. This is a little bit different than some of the other frying techniques, especially the articles that I posted. A lot of times when you're frying, you're going to dip into a powder and then dip into a liquid. You don't often mix the two together into just a batter. This one's a little bit different, so go ahead and get that mixed up. All right, so I'm going to start with this amount. I'm not super confident this is going to be enough for this entire batch. However, you have to wait in between for them to cook and then for your oil to heat back up. So I think I'll have time to make a second batch if it really seems like it's not taking as much as or it's taking more than what I think it's going to. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so I'm going to pause the video for just a minute. Wait for our oil to heat all the way up, and then we will start dipping, okay? All right, guys, so I'm not overly sure how much you can see here. I actually dumped a couple in here before I started the video because, you know, I'm cool that way. You can see, just a second, I'll pick that iPad up and hopefully you can see better. They're browning up quite nice. It took probably about 10 or 15 minutes for that oil to heat up. So remember, you gotta let that oil heat up, otherwise it's not going to fry quite as nicely. It's gonna be a little bit softer instead of that crispy crunch that you want. I also, as I was waiting for the oil, realized I forgot to show you guys tell you that I added baking powder. The recipe also called for baking powder in the mixture. So that is in there now. I apologize for forgetting to tell you about that. How I remembered that right before I got started, I will never know, but I did. Careful, honey, that's hot oil.
Hi.
All right, so I'm just waiting for them to brown up on both sides. You need to go on. This is too dangerous. All right, so it's brown. It looks like it's nice and getting nice and golden on both sides. You can see that one. And then I'm going to give it just a second for my my oil to heat back up. Every time you add stuff to it, your oil is going to cool off. So you have to give it just a few minutes there to heat back up. If you see here, I have a cooling rack on top of a cookie tray. I don't know if you can appreciate it, I put, instead of putting napkins or anything, I put coffee filters. I find that does a pretty good job at absorbing the oil and the grease. And then you just keep going. So you keep going. I have this one. I just, you guys can appreciate what's going on here. So I add an onion to the mixture, just like that, and then turn it so that it gets nice and covered, and then gently place it in the oil. Go. And then I'm doing 3 at a time. It says 2 or 3. I'm impatient, so I'm doing 3. Avi is out grilling some pork chops, and I think she's going to be done before I am, so I'm trying to hurry up just a little bit so that I get to eat the pork chops when they're warm. There we go. All right, so then you're just going to do groups of 2 or 3, each one looking nice and golden brown like this, until you get that whole batch done. And, oh, I forgot, it's sprinkled with a little bit of salt. I have to reach over here. Sprinkle with a little bit of salt when it comes out and the grease is still wet. That salt's going to stick a little better. And that's all there is to it. So I hope you guys, so I hope someone is frying. I know Everly, you talked to your family fries quite a bit. So hopefully you've gotten the chance this week to show your skills. Don't forget to send me some pictures. We still have to report to Mr. Bowley what's going on in our classes, and I'm sure that he would love to know what you guys are up to. So take care, and we can chat next Monday. Bye.